Hi, I'm Bob. Welcome back to the tutorial on the textbook Microeconomics Theory and Applications with Calculus, the 5th edition by Professor Jeffrey Perloff. We will continue to solve the exercises for Chapter 12, Pricing and Advertising. We are at the second part, Perfect Price Discrimination. Here's exercise 2.1. If a monopoly faces an inverse demand curve of P equals 90 minus Q, has a constant marginal and average cost of 30, and can perfectly price discriminate, what is its profit? What are the consumer surplus, welfare, and debit loss? How would these results change if the firm were a single-price monopoly? The firm perfectly price discriminates by selling each unit of its product at the reservation price. This means it sets the price of each unit along with the demand curve. The quantity the monopoly produces is determined by the intersection of the demand curve and the marginal cost curve. We can solve for the quantity 60. The perfectly price discriminating monopoly captures all possible consumer surplus. Consumer surplus is 0. Producer surplus is the area of the blue triangle, 1,800. The welfare is the sum of consumer surplus and producer surplus, 1,800. There is no debit loss. Profit equals producer surplus minus fixed cost. Since there's no fixed cost, the firm's profit equals the producer surplus, 1,800. If the firm is a single-price monopoly, it sets its quantity where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. We can solve for the monopoly quantity 30 and price 60. Consumer surplus is the yellow triangle, 450. Producer surplus is the blue area, 900. Welfare is 1,350. Debit loss is the red triangle, 450. The monopoly's profit is 900. Let's solve exercise 2.2. Using the information in the application Botox and price discrimination and the application Botox patent monopoly in Chapter 11. Determine how much the monopoly loses by being a single-price monopoly rather than a perfectly price discriminating monopoly. Explain. From the textbook, we know the producer surplus is $375 million if it is a single-price monopoly, but it is $750 million if it can perfectly price discriminate. The difference is $375 million. Let's go to exercise 2.3. See the application. Google uses bidding for ads to price discriminate, which discusses how advertisers on Google's website bid for the right for their ads to be posted when people search for certain phrases. Should a firm that provides local services such as plumbing or pest control expect to pay more or less for an ad in a small town or large city. Why? In a small town, people are likely to know each other. People know who are plumbers, or they can find information from friends. If this is the case, the plumbers do not have an incentive to post an advertisement online. They have a lower reservation price for the advertisement than the plumbers in large cities. So the plumbers in small towns will pay less for an ad. Let's find answers to exercise 2.4. To promote her platinum selling CD Feels Like Home in 2005, singer Norah Jones toured the country giving live performances. However, she sold an average of only 2/3 of the tickets available for each show, T-star. Suppose that the local promoter is the monopoly provider of each concert. Each concert hall has a fixed number of seats. In Part A, assume that the promoter's cost is independent of the number of people who attend the concert. Graph the promoter's marginal cost curve for the concert hall, where the number of tickets sold is on the horizontal axis. Be sure to show T-star. If the total cost is independent of the number of audience, then the marginal cost equals 0. The marginal cost curve is a horizontal line that coincides with the horizontal axis. In Part B, if the monopoly can charge a single market price, does the concert's failure to sell out prove that the monopoly set too high a price? Explain. No, the single pricing monopoly sets the ticket quantity and price to maximize its profit. For the monopoly, the price is the optimal price. If it lowers the ticket price, it makes less profit. At the monopoly quantity, T-star, marginal revenue equals marginal cost. T-star may be smaller than the total number of seats. In Part C, would your answer in Part B be the same if the monopoly can perfectly price discriminate? Use a graph to explain. As the graph shows, if the monopoly can perfectly price discriminate, it charges the reservation price for each ticket. That is, it sets prices along with the demand curve it faces until the intersection of the demand and marginal cost curves, E2. The last audience pays 0. By contrast, in the single pricing monopoly case, the optimum is E1. It sells T-star tickets at a uniform price of P-star. In the perfect price discrimination case, the monopoly sells more tickets and earns more profit than uniform pricing. However, T tilde may not be equal to the total number of seats. If T tilde is larger than the total number of seats, the monopoly should sell all tickets, and the audience with the lowest reservation price pays a positive price. If the T tilde is smaller than the concert capacity, a perfectly price discriminating monopoly still cannot sell all the tickets. It implies a too low demand or too many seats. Let's address exercise 2.5. A firm is a natural monopoly. Its marginal cost curve is flat, and its average cost curve is downward sloping. The firm can perfectly price discriminate. Use a graph to show how much the monopoly produces Q star. Show graphically and mathematically that a monopoly might shut down if it can only set a single price, but operate if it can perfectly price discriminate. As the graph shows, the marginal cost curve is horizontal, and the natural monopoly's average cost curve is downward sloping. If the monopoly can perfectly price discriminate, it will produce Q star units of output, where the marginal cost curve intersects the demand curve. The monopoly sets prices along with the demand curve. If the monopoly can only set a single price, it produces Q1 unit of output, where the marginal cost equals the marginal revenue at that output. The monopoly sets a uniform price of P1. The profit equals revenue minus cost. It equals P1 minus AC, then times Q1. It might be negative, as in this graph. The monopoly will shut down. By contrast, if the monopoly can perfectly price discriminate, the profit will be the areas of A plus B plus C plus D plus F plus G minus H. It could be positive, and the monopoly will operate. Thank you very much for solving all the exercises with me today. See you soon. Take care. Thank you for watching this video and subscribing to my YouTube channel. See you next time.